Hello everyone, I'm Jack. I'm the QMSU Vice President Welfare for this year, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Olu. I'm the Academic Skills Coordinator in Queen Mary Library Teaching and Learning Support.
Fantastic. So we're here to talk about the new Apps for Learning blog as part of Studywell. First question, I guess, what is the Apps for Learning blog?
Okay, so Apps for Learning, it's a blog, it's a WordPress blog. It was started, a joint project between my team, the Academic Skills Enhancement team in the Library Services, and the Disability and Dyslexia Service, and Advice and Counselling and Wellbeing. So it's a joint library teaching and learning wellbeing project. It's, in one respect, it's a bank of resources. It's a bank of apps, and these apps have been developed to support students in studying effectively, efficiently, and happily. So there are about 40 apps on the blog at the moment. And these include apps that support mindfulness, mental health, time management, motivation, things like that. And then also writing, revision, referencing, things like that. So all types of study skills that are needed. And on the blog, it's a short blog post, and it just gives a short description of the app, what it does, what you can use it for, where you can get it, costs, if any, with videos and download link. Yeah, so we set it up as a WordPress blog because we are not officially endorsing any of the apps that are there. But this is stuff that we've come across in our work, advising students on their studies, or students sometimes have told us about these apps that they're using. So none of them are an endorsement. It's just what's out there, trying to put it together in one place.
Amazing. It sounds so cool. So I guess you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but where did the idea for the blog itself come from? Like, what kind of first sparked it?
So it started off with conversations that I was having with study skills advisors in wellbeing. So, you know, I'm a study skills, academic skills advisor based in the library, and they're also doing similar work in wellbeing. So I was interested to know about the similarities and differences in our work, and to focus on what we have in common, because we're all working with students. Some students have specific learning needs. There's a range of, you know, neurodiversity within the student body, but everybody is studying the same curriculum. So we wanted to be able to offer something inclusive, you know, regardless of perceived disabilities. So we're thinking, well, what do we have in common? And then we realized that apps were the common ground, because apps that are used, for example, there's an app called Scrivener that is often used to support dyslexic students with writing, because it helps you to organize the writing. It gives you like a tree structure and to put different sections of your writing in, and then you can just move around the branches to reorder, and it helps if you have a visual kind of brain, which skill, forgive me if I don't get the terminology right, it's not my expertise, but if you have this visual skill, which apparently a lot of dyslexic students are quite strong in that way, and it's helpful to be able to arrange your writing like blocks. But you know what? It's helpful for me as well to arrange my my writing in that way. And lots of students who don't have dyslexia or don't know that they have, and that's the other thing, you know, it's a spectrum. the ability, we talk about mind mapping and visually structuring your writing. We say that to everybody, so this app, it's really good regardless of for helping with creativity and with thinking about your writing. So that's that was one example, and there are many examples of apps that can help everybody. So that's where the motivation for this blog came from. It's like, well, these apps, lots of people are on a spectrum in terms of these so-called and perceived learning difficulties and differences, and somebody else's weakness is another person's strength, and the apps can help support people's weaknesses regardless of whether they have a disability or not. So so it's a drive to be inclusive with skills support that led to this blog.
Love that, absolutely love that. It's so great. Such a good idea to use like our advancements in tech to really improve students' experiences and just be more inclusive. Absolutely fantastic. I love that.
We thought, if I could just ask you, we thought about this, that nowadays a lot of learning is happening, a lot of studying is being done with some kind of app. So there's a lot of learning being situated in apps. So if we could get into that space, we could really help students in a new way, and different kinds of students, the kind of students that maybe don't come to us normally. So, let me ask you, is that the case? A lot of studying is happening with apps?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And I think what's really interesting is students probably don't necessarily think that they're studying with apps. They might just use the apps as a kind of like a way to achieve what they're trying to do, but they might not necessarily view it as studying via an app. So for example, when I study, and lots of my friends do, we use apps like Quizlet and Study Blue, like the kind of flashcard type apps.
Yes.
And we're like really big on those kind of things. But we just kind of view it as studying via flashcards instead of studying via an app.
Right.
So we don't necessarily think about the kind of the app part of that process, but of course it is all kind of facilitated via an app, which is really great.
Yeah, so there might be them. I mean, that's a really popular one, Quizlet, and the educational theory, the pedagogy behind it is, self-testing, retrieving information helps you learn it. So, we can talk to students about that, but the students are already doing it using this app, but are not necessarily have that kind of meta knowledge about why they're doing it and why it's working. And so we can get into that space and say, this app that you're using, this is why it works, and you can take those habits outside of the app and use them elsewhere, and maybe there's a better way of doing it, or better tools. Apps are always improving. We should always be improving the way we learn as well.
Definitely, that makes a lot of sense. Have you used any of these apps yourself? I know you mentioned about the tree one. Have you used any of the other ones that are listed on the Apps for Learning blog? And if you have, which ones do you like?
So I'm a big fan of Otter, Otter.ai. It's a speech-to-text app. So first of all, I started using it if I was doing interviews, podcasts, and the automatic transcription. It's really you know, you upload the file and you play it, and it transcribes, and it transcribes very well. You can correct if it makes a mistake, because you can type into the transcription, and you can edit. So, and it's a really good quality. So I really like that. But then I started using it for my writing. So I would be on a bus or walking around, and I would just speak into my phone, and then come back and upload it, and I'd have it all transcribed. So because I find a lot of the time when I'm writing for research, I'm spending a lot of time trying to phrase it properly, rather than just get the ideas down. But if I'm just speaking the ideas, it flows quite easily. And this tool of because it was so accurate at capturing what I'm saying, it enabled me to have, you know, like 1,000 words, 2,000 words very quickly, you know, which I could then edit into more formal written language. So big fan of Otter.ai. I should say though, unfortunately, apparently they're not so good with the data security is not so good. Apparently we can't be entirely sure where our uploaded recordings are going or how they're being stored. And this is something that you have to be careful with apps. You have to know, you know, where does the data go? So that's why we're not endorsing any of these apps, because as an institution we have to sign off apps and do our security checks and things like that. But then at the same time, is Facebook secure? Is Instagram secure? You know, we are using all of these things, and rather than saying or stay away from it, I see it as a learning opportunity to learn about digital literacy, privacy issues. You know, we've got to learn about that stuff. So it's still a learning opportunity. But yes, I'm a big fan of that text-to-speech app. I've mentioned Scrivener, which is the allows you to visualize your writing in terms of tree structures and maps. And I like Forest. You know Forest?
Yeah, I've used it before. It's great. Yeah.
Yes. And, you know, again, that taps into the psychology of reward. And, you know, the fact that you can visually see how much work you've done, it's motivating. So in our workshops, we talk about motivation and how to motivate yourself. And we can talk about this app. You see, this app works. Why does it work? Because this is how you learn. So that's what's great about the Apps for Learning project, because you use apps for learning and they create learning opportunities as well. And it's a language that everybody, all students understand, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. Brilliant. So what's next for the blog? So you've kind of got this bank of resources, and which is, you know, really, really great. Is there any scope for any more development with that? What the blog will do, where it will go next?
Yes, definitely. So we've got like 40 apps up there at the moment. These have come from the experience of the advisors that have worked on it, who I should name check. So there's Lucia Evans and Tasneema Begum in Wellbeing. They come across a whole load of apps in their advising. and I had these lists, and they've written 90% of the blog posts at the moment. Wide range of experience. So, big thanks to Taz and Lucia. And then a few more have been written by students or recently ex-students, and that's where I want to take the blog, how I want to take the blog forward now, to get contributions from students. Okay, so I mean, we've got it indirectly because the apps that are there, they've come from working with students, but now we want to hear about what students are using. We want apps to be submitted or even written up. If students want to get involved in the blog, you can write them up. So that's one, student contribution of apps. And the other way is to have reviews of the apps that are there, through comments, and eventually we might set up like a 5-star, a star rating thing, so you can review the apps. So it kind of then becomes like a, like a Google Play, like an app store, but for learning. You review, because the comments themselves, you show, oh yeah, I use it for this, it really helped me. I had my final exams and I used this and I got this kind of thing. So it can be really motivating in terms of the reviews as well. So student contributions and user reviews, that's the next stage for the blog. And ultimately, sorry.
No, so I was just saying that I really love the kind of the interactivity of that, and because you can invest so much time in kind of finding new apps and which ones work for you and what they work for and what they're not so great for. But if someone else has already done that and is sharing their experiences,
yes,
that can kind of help to inform which kind of apps might work for what you want them. So it saves everyone time. I mean, you can still experiment with them. You might have different experiences, but it's just, the community trying to help the rest of the community, like our students helping each other.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. To get this shared knowledge, because people love to hear about new apps, good new apps, and ultimately where I want to go with apps for learning is an app making competition, app prototype making competition, with a prize for the best app prototype and support for making the app. So I've already talked to and got interest from the Institute of Coding, which has a base here at Queen Mary, and they support Queen Mary events. And I pitched this to them, and they are very interested in in supporting an app prototype making competition with a prize and with support for the app. So that's there in the background. But I realized that before then, we need to know, students need to know, because it'll be a competition for students. Students need to know, well, what kind of apps should we make? So you have to have a discourse around apps. You have to have people talking about apps and saying, oh, well, I wish this one did this. If it could do this as well, or wouldn't it be great if we had this? And once you have that conversation going, then somebody can have the spark to try and make it. So so there are stages, and we're in stage one. We've got a blog there, and we've got some posts. Now we want to get reviews and comments and get people talking about, this is great, wouldn't it be great if we had this? And then we have a competition to make the apps. So that's where it's going. That's where I wanted to go. And lots of learning and fun on the way, hopefully.
Amazing. That sounds really, really exciting. Can't wait to see how that takes shape. And, you know, I can just imagine all of the really exciting things that our students will create and come up with. So really looking forward to that. Brilliant. Well, thank you so, so much. It's been really great to talk to you. And for everybody watching, thank you for watching and listening to us. If you want to check out the blog, I would 110% recommend that you do. It's a fantastic, fantastic resource. It's appsforlearning.blog. We'll put a link in the description as well, so you can get it there too.
And if you're interested in contributing to the blog, please do get in touch with me. You can just email me directly, o.popoola, Popoola, @UK. Just email me, say you want to get involved with the blog. That'd be great.
Cool. We could put that in the little the caption description as well with the,
yeah, okay.
the link. Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
All right, then. Thanks, Jack.